Did it change? Hold up. I don't have the right screen. I'm on the wrong screen. We need to go to this one. Hi, chat. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another episode of the TraderPrad show, or how we are gonna call it, Who Let the Bears Out show, or the Free Fall Friday show, or the Timbers show. Because a little bit of trickle down has started. Trickle down Thursdays, like we said, right? We could possibly expect a little bit of a move down. Originally, market looked like they wanted to go higher. They tested those range highs. They pushed down and they pushed back up, and then they were consolidating higher. And then comes out the bond numbers that crashed the market. Powell was talking, that kind of brought the market a little bit lower. So I think this was the trigger that we're looking for, and this trigger could just open up a little bit downside volatility for the market tomorrow, causing it to be a nice little free fall Friday. But that involves for a couple of things to get checked off on the market for us. We need to see the QQQ and the S&P 500 do a couple things. We need to see a couple stocks do a couple certain things in order for us to pile into the short side. So all of which we'll be talking about throughout the remainder of this show. So stay tuned if you are interested in what type of trade opportunities I'll be looking forward for. But first, as we always do, we're going to talk about my trades on the day. How did my day go? Another red day for me. 4 red days in a row now in this month. One of those red days was pretty much or not this month, this week, sorry. One of those red days was actually a flat day, but all of these red days combined, I'm still positive on the month, so that's a good note. Now we would like to see if this Friday opportunity for us, if this free fall Friday can help us keep it that way and stay green on the month. Maybe we can build that money that we donated back in the first 4 days of this week back on the last day, and next week we come back better, we come back stronger. We traded a couple of our positions really stupidly today. I have no fear in saying that out loud. The first step is recognizing what you did and then fixing it. But then, along with trading a couple of positions stupidly, I also traded a couple positions really well. So that helped me out, not really lose too much money on the day. So while I was going full stupid mode, I was also being full smart mode. Only if we are able to catch ourselves in that moment of recognizing those bad trades and kind of stop them in that moment, I think that would be the next step for us as a elevation of a trader, and the next step to getting consistent. And that's exactly, I think, some of those words that are coming from my manager, who's kind of mentoring me and helping me get to the level that I could be, or I need to be, or I want to be, whatever those words are, right? So yeah, we'll talk about my trades on the day, how we pretty much were flat slash red today once again. We'll talk about all the trades opportunities that are coming up on the market tomorrow, how we talked about the QQQ trade yesterday, how that one played out pretty picture perfectly, and all the other opportunities that we can possibly indulge ourselves in. Real quick before we start off with, we always like to look at the chat. So chat's coming in and saying hello. We got TH at number 2. We got Sky Fairy. What's up, Sky Fairy? Finally caught you at the right time. I see the smile. It's okay. I was red too. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm always happy. You know me. Life's always good, but not good. Great. Life's always great. We're able to wake up. We're able to go do what we love doing, and we're able to grow from it, learn from it every single second of the life and day. And I also get to do this, a part over here where I get to talk to all my beautiful viewers and prep for the market tomorrow. Another fun thing that I like to do. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a little bit of a shorter watch list today for the prepping of tomorrow, but that's mainly because we're going to be looking at more big tech plays more likely in play tomorrow, and the overall market. I kind of want to see what we can do with the QQQ and the S&P 500, all of which is coming up in store. But first, you know where we're going. Let's cue up the drum roll. Brrr, we're going right into my trades on the day. Nvidia was one of my most profitable trade on the day today. Let me quickly turn on this integration for you guys. We're not on Square, we're on Nvidia. There we go. So Nvidia, my number one most profitable trade on the day, was looking at this 480 area when the market was also pushing into the higher ranges of the market at that time period. Let me pull up QQQ for you. So right around that time period, what was that? I guess like 1140 ish. So right around 1140, you can see how the market was breaking out and going higher. So even though, yeah, Nvidia was up 2-3% on the day, what are the chances that it actually breaks 480? We don't know, but it's a monkey shot. You take the long off the 480, you give it about 25 cents, 50 cents of risk to the downside for a potential move of $1, $2, $5 higher. So I got into that long, gave it that risk, was able to capture a beautiful move up to $482, and then didn't really have any more size left. A beautiful double top over there where you could gotten short or gotten short on the re-entry of 480. So multiple areas to get into. The other side of the trade over here on Nvidia, if you were looking for it, especially when the market was making these type of moves later on in the day. So a bunch of fun over there overall for anyone who was looking at. I got to play on the long side on the break of 480. Other profitable stock on the day for us today, Disney. Disney came out with a profitable earnings report. We were talking about that last night. We actually I think deviated from our trade plan a little bit. Can 86 hold? Blah 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 blah. So we wrote down all these notes, but nowhere in those notes did it say look for the long on the break of 88.50. But if you pull up Disney over here, you see the after hour high and you see how the stock traded in pre-market. Very, very strong sideways trading. Usually when a stock has an earnings report and it's doing this type of action, it's most likely coming back down. But when it's trading in a higher range and just trading sideways and the earnings VWAP is also just flatlining, that's not really showing you weakness. Might not show you a lot of strength, but not really showing you weakness. But this is where that level was for us. That pre-market, sorry, the after hour high yesterday after the earnings report. We didn't really test that high at all throughout the open. So looking for a breakout of the opening drive throughout that price point gave us a beautiful move right into those ranges that we were looking for what the stock could possibly do later on in the day, which you could have gotten short later on and scalped it to the downside if you had these levels mapped out, or if you were watching the stream with us and you saw that these levels were already on the chart for us. So Disney, I actually don't have Disney on this watch list, so maybe we'll throw this bad boy on this watch list for ourselves, a little bit higher on the watch list for ourselves tomorrow. So DIS, beautiful opening drive long, and we were able to capture a good move over there. I think all the way up to $90 basically, and we were long on the break of 88.50. Love seeing those trades happen. Later on in the day, could have gotten back into it, but I guess I was just way too busy doing other stuff on the stocks, which we'll show you very, very soon over here coming up. Forgot to put Disney there. Okay. Next stop that we traded over here is going to be Affirm. Affirm off the open. I didn't really trust this move. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really trust this move, and the stock ripped up, came back to today's VWAP, bounced right off of it, gave you a chance to get a long. So right back in those lows area, I'm looking for a long. We get under it, and after we get back up and show a little bit of consolidation range, I'm getting back into the long over there. I take some out, get back in right near VWAP, get some out, and then I go a little bit stupid over here. These ads I'm not a big fan of because I'm adding into a loser. That's a big flush right there. I need to recognize that there's still a seller over here, and that selling is pushing the stock right back down. Fine, they're creating a higher low, but they're not really creating a higher high for me. That's breaking the patterns that I'm looking for the stock to go back into the high a day and go higher than the high a day. So me not being able to recognize those patterns at that moment caused me to get into these trades. But on the hindsight, now that I'm talking about it, I'm seeing it. Hopefully, the more I talk about these patterns to you guys, the more I say it out loud, the more I internalize it, and then moving forward, when I'm actually trading it, I get to recognize it in that moment. So seeing that this got sold down over here, created a higher low, fine, that makes sense to buy up. But then when it made a lower high, that was probably the good exit. But then the all your other positions should have been dumped out over here. Then you should have possibly waited somewhere down over here for that entry later on. Obviously, all of this is hindsight trading, but this move over here kind of negates the whole thesis. Now we're just basically trading under VWAP for the rest of the day, so you can see how a firm gets sold off under 26 later on, and not really allowing it to have that move to 27 and higher to see if there's more ranges for a firm to trade in. I luckily, however, got to have it on the winning side on the stock today, just because I diamond hands it a little bit, even with my bad entry. So a firm ended up paying us a little bit on the positive side today. I think space is also in that same basket because of how I added to those positions later on in the day. So got long originally after the stock held that 188 to $2 area. We got into that 188. I saw strength coming in later on, so I got long with the tight risk to the downside. Stock goes up near $2, looking for more buying to come in, so I got long. And once we show buying once again on the second time going through two, not the first time going through two, but the second time going through two, looking for that long ad just in case the stock has a bigger pop to the north side and just takes off. But sadly, that doesn't happen. So this flush happens once again, the same thing as that happens on a firm not able to recognize the pattern over here that this is getting sold off big time. I'm still like leaning on that 188 level basically, so adding more size on the exact same spot that I previously added at, waiting to see if the stock would really get sold off under 188. It doesn't really do that, pops back up, allowing me to take some profits, try to get back in a little bit more to see if there's a bigger move to the north side. That bigger move doesn't really show up, so I'm out of this position right here, right back near $2, and looks like that was the right call because space does dip back down to the south side. Profitable trade, but we made a couple poor decisions on the stock today, and that was the story of the day today. A lot of poor decisions, a lot of ignoring what the market was really telling me and the stocks were really telling me, not being on in rhythm, I guess, with myself today and with the market. So ended up being slightly red day today. That is the story. The next stock over here that we have is Mara. Mara with the cryptocurrency catalyst. Obviously, Bitcoin going up to what, 37,000 or something recently. Insane move over there. I'm almost about to break even on Bitcoin, so that's monstrous. So let's see what happens when that gets to that price. But Mara with the positive earnings report and with the cryptocurrency catalyst popping up to the north side, didn't actually get involved in the original move up here. Waited for pullbacks, and then I started adding into the pullbacks like an absolute idiot, and ignoring the whole thesis again. Like, hey, this area makes sense, but then if that area doesn't hold, I should have stopped out over here. Later on, adding over here, trying to see if I can force a win out of this position. So my number one, or my least lost stock on the day today, is Mara. So here's a couple stupid entries, not really listening to what the market's telling me, and kind of forcing the trade. Tesla was positive for us at some points of the day, but then we turned to negative for ourselves. So what happened on Tesla? Was looking for a possible reversal back to VWAP, just trying to catch that swing back up on Tesla, because the market was ridiculously strong on the day originally. Well, not ridiculously, but the market was swinging around, and when the market was going higher, you can see right around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I was expecting Tesla to give me a little bit of a bounce back up to the north side to VWAP with tight risk to reward, a $1 risk for a $3, $4 move. That'd be amazing. But I only got about a dollar or $1.50 on this trade over here. A couple losses, but a couple wins ended up paying for those losses. The stock was first profitable on the day. Then later on, I take another loss and I turn it flat on the day, but that win ends up giving me a monster win. So I ended up turning the stock into a profitable trade again. Later on in the day, after the market kind of crashes and falls to the downside and shows me a possible area to look for some longs on the market, I'm trying it again on Tesla over here, and this basically ends up turning the stock to the red side for me, and my third or my second most lost stock on the day today ends up being Tesla. Just gambled way too much on it. Weakest stock on the day, and the market ended up being weak, and here I am trying to buy the dips. Right? So that one hurt. QQQ, beautiful short later on after trying some monkey shots. Tried one over here after it showed a reversal back under 347, 374, sorry, 374. Tight stop. Then I tried one more over here. It got stopped out. Then after it broke higher, hunted stops and came back down. Got back in, exit, exit. Beautiful move right back into today's ranges right before well, we didn't really push into yesterday's low yet. This was around yesterday's low. Later on, after we pull back into that 374 area, right before that was this candle. That candle is the bond catalyst. But right around this time, when the market was looking to break out to the north side, but didn't really have that much power to break out, came back down, consolidated. I'll be honest, I was looking for a short in this area when the market was doing this. When the market was doing this, I was looking for a short on the curl. Well, when that curl happened and it got bought right back up, I said, screw this, I'm gonna just punch that long right there and risk these lows, and ended up giving me a beautiful swing to the north side, not swing, scalp to the north side, and we were able to flip long on QQQ over there. That was a quick fun little trade for ourselves to the north side after originally catching a short, and then QQQ with that big bond move. So I put in an anchored VWAP from the bond move, and that anchored VWAP was right around over here, and it showed a little bit of a rejection. So I got short, got burnt. Then later on, I got short closer to today's previous low. I got burned. Then later on, I tried some near VWAP. I got burned. Eventually, I was able to catch it back and ride it to the downside. And I tried a quick little long in front of 370 just in case it was going to give us the move into VWAP. But it was too late in the day to even expect that move into VWAP. So closed that position fairly quickly. QQQ lost because of how much size we were pushing over here based on that bond move. I mean, I didn't expect the market to move all the way back to VWAP after making that much of a move in that quick of a time period, nor did anyone on my floor. A couple people took losses off of this move over here. So, I mean, not just our floor. I'm pretty sure a lot of people took losses around these time periods if you were trading big tech stocks and not just the QQQ, or even if you were trading futures. So a lot of people probably got stopped out in profit, or probably tried to enter new positions on these pops and got burnt out. A lot of shorts who entered here, burnt out. A lot of shorts who entered around this downside candle over there, that little red candle, they all got burnt out. So burnt out, burnt out, burnt out. So the stock basically hunted levels, was ruthless to the upside, or the ETF, sorry, the market, QQQ market, tech basket, was ruthless to sellers today on the pops. And eventually, if you caught it though, beautiful rejection of VWAP and reversal right back to the downside. I was able to capture a little bit of a move over there. 372, gave it 50 cents a risk, never really came into contention. Move all the way into 370 where we covered the trade. So had fun with QQQ over there. Shout out to your boy QQQ. Sadly, overall negative because we pushed way too much size in the middle over there. God damn. All right. Next stock, or last stock on the day, it still says Mara. I need to get better at changing this. I keep forgetting. Next stock up is Uber. Uber, we went a little crazy on this one too. Number one loser on the day today, Uber, because we had that bias a little too strong on it, and I recognize where that problem came from today after talking to my manager. My manager was sitting there explaining, he goes through my trades, or all of our trades at the end of the day, kind of explains to us what trade looks good, what trade doesn't look good, so you can help recognize those patterns and build those patterns in your head, so you can kind of now differentiate a A plus trade and a B plus trade and a C plus trade, or whatever, or A, B, C trade, and then your risk allotment per trade can differentiate now. Before, it was just all trades same size because I'm not able to recognize a A trade and a B trade and a C trade. But now with about 2 months in with this new company, I'm able to recognize, thankfully to their coaching abilities and my learning abilities too, able to recognize these A trades, B trades, and C trades and differentiate the amount of buying power that I should allocate for those trades and so on. And that is the secret recipe to basically getting richer. Not that dynamic. It's dynamic. Yeah, you gotta have dynamic sizing. You can't have static sizing, and you will not end up making money with static sizing in the long run. All your trades just can't be same size. There's actually a beautiful video about that from Lance, the one Lance B on the SMB Capital channel. So Uber, anyways, coming back to it, went a little crazy. I had too much of a bias that hey, the stock rejected this 50-30 area yesterday beautifully, twice, in fact. And now we're opening below that. This area of 40.50 to 40.70 looks interesting. The pre-market area. Let the stock swing to the downside first. Find some buying into yesterday's ranges of 49 and 48.80, which was the earnings low, if I remember correctly. It did find some buying there. Pops up, and then I have some orders right into 49.50, 49.70, looking for that short in this whole range, trying to build into that position, expecting, not anticipating, not participating, but anticipating selling to come into this area. So that anticipation burnt me a little bit over here and took a nice little loss on that move back up. Later on, where the shot was actually worth taking, which was the 530 area, right? Where the stock gave you multiple rejections yesterday. It gave you a good enough of a chance to fight for that short. And you were able to scalp some profits on the way down as it goes down 30 cents for profit. And your risk to reward was way tighter anyways. The risk was maybe 5, 10 cents, 20 cents higher. And your reward was immediately 30 cents to the downside anytime you possibly got in. But eventually you would have recognized that the trade's not working because the stock is not really breaking below 50. And anytime we do go to 50, it's making a higher low. It's making a higher low. It's making a higher low, which would have possibly caused you to close this position and flip to a long side instead. Me not able to recognize all of that because I'm just too focused on my bias at the moment, not looking at the tape, not looking at the chart pattern, just looking at my stupid P&L. Traded my P&L quite a bit today. That was a big problem too. I would get into a position and I would just look at my position board and just stare at my position board, which is not something that I actually do when I have good days. When I have great days, which I did on the first day of this month or the second day of this month, that was all looking at the market, studying the market, listening to the market, trading the market. Today, I would get into a position and I would just go right into staring at my P&L board. So that was a little stupid of me. Tomorrow, we're not going to do that, okay? We're not going to do that. But that's the end of all the trades that we had, ladies and gentlemen, on the day today. A little bit of a red day, like I said. Once again, you're probably tired of me listening to me say that. But that's going to basically help us set up into the beautiful. You guys hear that? Sounds like farts. Anyways, beautiful. My hands are too dry if they sound like that, probably, right? I need to go lotion my hands or something. Anyways, this red day, a little bit of a red day over here is gonna help us get angry and aggravated enough to pull into the market tomorrow and not trade with any emotions, but pull into the market tomorrow and smack that short side opportunities if they are there. The watch list is we still got quite a bit of a stocks over here on the watch list, but we're mostly looking forward to see what happens tomorrow on the big tech, on the QQQ and the SPY in general. I think I'll be looking at the QQQ quite a bit tomorrow. We might just be able to get some fun market moves coming all across the board because of how the overall basket traded off. We rejected those areas, the 370.74 to 374 area, 373.74 to 374 area, which you can basically say 375 now. So 374 to 375 area on the QQQ getting rejected, and the SPY was 437.5 Yeah, buddy. It's yeah, 437.5. Yeah, I said 437.5. Awesome. 437.5. I guess you can also say this pre-market high of 439. Basically, this whole range of the SPYs getting rejected. The SPY, something that I noticed was a lot cleaner to the downside if you were looking for the shorts. It never really had those crazy swings that the QQQ did, especially after rejecting these highs. For example, QQQ went up and down, right? But SPY was it went up, but it came back down. When the QQQ went back up, the SPY didn't really pull all the way back up, and the SPY dumped all the way to the downside. And then when the QQQ pulled up after the bond number and so on, the SPY didn't really pull as drastically. It got rejected right into the previous low a day area and sold off much cleaner. So SPY was the much cleaner ETF to trade today. Just goes to show how strong the tech basket was, man. The tech basket was ridiculously strong today, and they fought for that move back up to VWAP, all the way back up to VWAP. Now on the longer time frame, however, let me turn that off. Now in the longer time frame, however, for the S&P 500, that dropped right into November's anchored VWAP. Well, I don't think that anchored VWAP is that important. We're not really halfway through the month, but it might be a little important, right? We'll see how if buying comes in off those prices, how it reacts. That area also happens to be one of the more recent lows where the stock has bounced off of on the daily chart. It is also the 100 period SMA and the 50 period SMA on the S&P 500. So that's something to take a look at. I, however, think we possibly break through this area and go much lower to the downside. And we actually might go take a look at S&P 500 futures. This will give you a better idea of where the futures market could possibly go down to, and where the S&P 500 could get dragged along with it. So I'm expecting the S&P 500 to land right back into these ranges of 4280, let's say 4300, most likely coming back into play tomorrow. 4275, 4250. Where's 4250? Is that low? Nah, it's not. But I'm thinking somewhere in this range. We drop back into these ranges over here on the S&P 500 futures tomorrow, and that gives us a beautiful short. But we also have this anchored VWAP. Where does that one come from? Where does that one come from there? Oh, that's the year-to-date anchored VWAP. Ooh. So, yeah, I mean, that could come in a span of multiple days. I don't think we drop all the way down to 429.39. TLT is something to possibly take a look at. TLT did a shit ton of volume at that 1 o'clock time period. Never really see TLT bringing in 1 million shares at a certain time of day. But you saw it happen at that time. Ooh, actually, you do see it sometimes. I guess whenever bond numbers come out. So TLT did a shit ton of size in that 5-minute candle. And the bond number obviously very, very effective to the overall market, bringing it down quite drastically. However, we need to prep for the other side of the equations also. If the SPY does bounce off of these areas near 431 or so, if the S&P 500 futures does manage to find some buyers tomorrow, not sure why, but if they do manage to find some buyers, then you might want to get into some longs over there, right? But the longs are going to be a little bit more passive than the shorts. The shorts might be a little bit more aggressive, meaning I'm gonna be ready to give a little bit more risk on my shorts than I am on my longs. I'm gonna be waiting very patiently on the longs than I might be on the short side. If tomorrow is a green day on the markets, because I'm not gonna believe on that bounce back up. Today's overall numbers and catalyst that came out, even Powell on the mic, today, saying just shut the fucking door with something. That was amazing. Shout out to Papa Powell over there, putting the climate protesters in their place. I mean, what a Chad, what an absolute Chad, Papa Powell. But I don't know if he's talking tomorrow. We'll take a look at the economic calendar. But if the market does manage to give us a bounce, I'm most likely going to be looking for shorting those pops. We've seen the rejection of these areas play pretty strong now. So 437 to 438, I'm not going to be looking for longs into that area. If we do pop back into these areas tomorrow, we are going to be looking for those shorts, and anywhere under 433, 432, anywhere under 430, monster short opportunities that open up all across the board on the S&P 500 and the QQQ basket. But in regards to QQQ, the number in specific that we might be interested in, the November the number anchored VWAP is currently at 366.50, and we're trading at 370. This is also 369, 370. Not really too confident about the ranges in the middle over here. I'm just going to be waiting to see if we do have a pullback on the QQQ basket right into anywhere of this 1 o'clock number VWAP tomorrow. Any pullbacks into the 1 o'clock number VWAP tomorrow, showing me a little bit of a resistance off that price, showing me that there is a seller still there taking control and actually selling off of these prices, and then I might be getting interested in there, or even pulling into 371 could give you a possible short over there, because that was the recent low over here. So 370.50 to 371 could look for a short there. If that short doesn't work, you can obviously wait for that 374 to 375 area to come into play, which I don't think comes into play. If the market does go right back into these highs, it negates the whole theory of the short side. Doesn't make sense why we would pull all the way back over here and not reject these lows tomorrow if we do pop back up. And surprisingly enough, that anchored VWAP is right around these lows. So I'm expecting these lows to get rejected on the market. Any pops into 370.50 to 371, 371.50, basically a dollar over there, should get smacked down on the QQQ. Bang. So QQQ, we're basically ready for our possible trade theory tomorrow, looking for the shorts into these areas. And then if we are already trading under these areas, it just opens up more short side. Look for those short patterns to form into the market. Nice little lower high, lower low, exhaustions of the levels of coming in, something like this over here. If I can just zoom in, bring in a 5-minute chart. This is a 5-minute chart. Or even this kind of is a better example than this, honestly, because the market was still very indecisive over here, but the real pattern starts forming around these areas after the market sells off the open, maybe pops back up, rejects revop, and then starts showing you a clear move to the downside. The breakout of these levels over here possibly gives you a bigger move to lower day, and then the rejection of lower day, where you can add on that trade and have a nice move even more to the downside on the QQQ for a nice continuation sell-off of a free fall Friday. That's what we're expecting for. So look for clear patterns on the market to the downside that will indicate you like, yeah, hey, selling is still there. And if you don't know what type of patterns to look for, then you need to spend more time on the market. Get more reps in. Form those patterns. Look for some of the trades that you haven't been in, and make notes on those trades. Draw areas where you should have possibly looked for the longs, and how would you have looked for the longs? What do you need to see for those longs to come into play? Not just drawing a circle on a chart saying, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna look for a long over here. No, what do you need to see for those longs at that moment? Now you're seeing a lower high, lower low. You're seeing a bidder step in. Are you seeing size on the tape? Are you seeing more greens than reds taking place on the time of sales? Are you seeing the stock hold an even dollar price after getting above it, and anytime it goes to that even dollar price, it starts holding a penny or two higher and higher and higher. That's showing you that bidders are stepping up. The velocity of the tape, is it fast? Is it slow? Is it more mid prints? Is it more into the ask? Is it more into the bid? Is it going above the ask, up below the bid? So you got to look at all these indications, and once you start forming these patterns, writing down into your books, into your notes. I do that every single day. I can show you all those notes, but those notes are a little bit secretive. But write down these notes. Take what am I trying to say? Take like keep a journal, keep a record of everything, and also in terms of keeping the journal, track your trades, track your damn trades, tag them as a setup, understand where you're making money, where you're losing money, and this will help you in the long run, cut down the losers, make more money on the winners, hold your winners longer. That's part of what is helping me do that. I'm still profitable on the month, even after having 4 straight red days on this week so far. It's because I'm able to use software and journals that I write down journals by hand. I have journals such as Notion that you see me using on Thing, but I also use an app called TraderSync. It helps me download my data every single day from my broker, put it right into the website, tag each stock with what setup I'm trading as, and then learn from what type of setups am I making money, what time of the day am I making money, what time of the day am I losing money. Surprise, surprise, losing money during the algo hour, and then what time of the day am I making a lot of money, and then size up on those setups, size down on the other setups, size down during the certain time of days, and little secrets over here and there that help you make more money and get a little bit more consistent, a little bit more profitable. So go check out TraderSync down below. That's what my journal is. That's a little ad placement for you guys over there. Shout out to ads. Now, let's get to the next part of the stream over here, which is looking at all the plays for tomorrow. First off, we talked about QQQ and SPY already. You guys see how bearish I am. Free Fall Friday, says the bear on the thumbnail. We're looking forward for that. A couple people in the chat saying, word up, bro. What's up, Gustavo? My brother, how you doing? Prad, I so-called NTDOY Nintendo. Now I see if November, December tax harvesting gives you tax harvesting dips. Same with Disney. If you have viewers that want to swing that. So Momo calling out Nintendo. I'm not gonna look at Nintendo. It's not a day trade for me. I'm sorry, Momo. But apparently she's calling out a swing trade for you guys if you're interested on Nintendo over there, ladies and gentlemen. We all need to come together and produce a Free Fall Friday for Prad. Yes, Cody. Put your buying power on the sell side. Actually remove your sell button tomorrow. If you have a sell button on your computer, uninstall it. You better not have it. I'm gonna kill you if you do. I like to trade SPY. I watch it anyways a lot. Also the QQQ. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to do that a little bit more. I have not looked at the QQQ and the SPY as much as I used to for trades, but I have been looking at them more and more and more. So they're not something to trade every single day, but when they do move, they give you great opportunities, right? They give you great risk to reward opportunities, and when they trend awesomely. But there's a beautiful, once again, not to suck the Lance Beast phallus, but he has an amazing video that he talks about where it's ridiculously hard to be profitable just trading QQQ and SPY every single day. Almost no big trader, there's 0 8-figure traders out there in the world, maybe not 0, but there's not a lot of big traders out there in the world who solely just trade QQQ and SPY every single day. It just doesn't make sense. Prad, greetings, brother. No trades for me today. I like it. CDP could stayed away from it. Just looking at the market, I guess. Kind of assessing it yourself. Assessing the market. Assessing the waters. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's going on? And today there was a lot of moments in the market where it was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to stay away. But then that 1 o'clock move triggered a lot of downside volatility, most likely on the market, that we're excited for. Can we see that free fall? Are you in touch with the colleagues from Trader TV? Will you go back like the show Trader TV? No, I don't care about that. But my friends from that office, yeah, I'm Still very much in friendships with all those guys. I actually saw. I went back to that office to go hang out with them last weekend. We got some drinks with a couple of the traders over there. Met some new traders. Couple hang out with all of my old friends at that floor. And then this weekend, I'm actually hanging out with all my OG friends from that floor again. So we're gonna probably go get some drinks this weekend and have some fun. So Luca, Max, you guys know Max. Maybe you guys remember Ian. Ian's coming out. Maybe if you've seen Spencer, he's been on the show a couple times. So yeah, all the trading buddies, the OG trading buddies. Brankles is gonna be there. We're all gonna go get some drinks, have some fun. So yeah, we still hang out, but the only person from Trader TV that I talk to is Neil. He's the only person I care about, honestly. So yeah, no, I don't talk to Trader TV. Any thoughts on a swing trade on Boyle? Boyle is not an ETF. Oh, Arun. I care about Arun. Arun's dope, but Arun's not part of Trader TV. Arun is still around. He still works for Day Trade the World, I believe, if I remember correctly. I haven't talked to him in a while. I think he was on a vacation last time I spoke to him. Maybe he's back. I don't know. Any thoughts on Boyle for a swing trade? Honestly, I can't give you thoughts on swing trades. I'm not a swing trader, my friend. I cannot give you thoughts on something that I don't do. Boyle is a natural gas leverage ETF. Is it leverage? It's not a leverage. It's a normal natural gas ETF. If you think about it, I mean, winter's coming. And doesn't that mean during winter natural gas goes up? I believe, right? Not that I've seen the trade happen, not that I trade the trade, but makes sense. More gas bills, more electricity costs as people are trying to keep their houses warmer and not freeze to death in colder countries like Canada, New York, and other states in America where it snows. I understand the trade there, but I've never traded the trade. I can't give you a swing trade either on there, sadly, because it's a natural gas ETF, man. It just doesn't see that much volatility. I mean, if you go to the chart, do you see any volatility in this stock? Right? There's absolute zilch volatility. If we were to throw in Bollinger Bands, can we get a normal Bollinger Bands? Like, what the hell is all this shit? I forget that. But yeah, there's no volatility in this right now. Even with more volume than ever before, there's no volatility in here. And the daily candles are like, it's boring. It's boring. So it's a little, not a day trade, obviously. Not a day trade at all. But for a swing trade, even for a swing trade, you're telling me I have to hold it for a nothing pop. There's other trades out there that are better for a swing trade, in my opinion. I don't know. Just not someone that you should probably be asking for, Boyle. I'm not a swing trader. Sorry. Prad swing trade Boyle, stop loss $50, sell around 54. Well, you got Momo's answer over there if you want to take a look at it. I'm not gonna give an answer because I just don't believe in the trade. I don't believe in the trade. Simply don't believe in it. You can swing trade way better positions at the moment that will give you more money quicker with a higher percentage win and a less risk to, or a better risk to reward than Boyle is currently giving you, in my opinion. And I could be wrong, but I'm sticking to my opinion. Moving on to the next or the first stock on the watch list today, Plug Power. Power came out with earnings report today after hours. Looks like a red earnings report, losing wider than expected and not making as much money on the revenue side as expected. Looking at the guidance, most likely is also to the red side. So Plug Power dropping to the downside over here. They did recently have a good catalyst. That That was the $600 billion news catalyst, or was it 6 billion? I think it was 6 billion. And that stock popped up, but ever since then, we've basically been selling off that news catalyst on this position. And now on the earnings report, what does it look like? Even more of a sell-off on the stock. So yeah, getting hurt sadly. No bueno for Plug Power. Let's quickly zoom out. Let's see how that stock looks. We're currently at $4.48. We did ping $4 perfectly. If we zoom out on that one, $4 is clearly a new 52-week low. But on the daily chart, I mean, those are levels from way back in the history when. So don't think those really come into play at the moment. Now we're basically looking at for any pops into 5 to short this position. Hello, why are you that color? Okay. Now we're basically looking to any reason to short the pops into $5 to $5.50 in my opinion on Plug Power. Don't think we actually get into $5. Why not? We could easily get into $5. So looking for any pops. This could also give you a good SSR bounce to the north side. If we do see that $4 get tested, there could be a buyer at 4. When you see a big pop away from an even dollar price like that, usually also in after hours, that could be some sort of a buyer over there really pushing the stock right back up to the north side. And if we were to throw in an anchor VWAP from there, that could show you more buying around $4.27. But I'm not going to be too interested in that anchored VWAP. I'm only interested to see how this earnings anchored VWAP plays off going into the trade tomorrow. If we're seeing this anchored VWAP curl up a little bit in pre-market going into the open, that basically means the stock is going right back into 558 in my opinion. But if we're seeing this curl down, and for that would require the stock to open up closer to $4, but not really breaking 4, then that is possibly the SSR bounce area that we're looking for on Plug Power. So look out for that SSR bounce in front of 4, and if 4 is not holding, that just means more downside. Possible SSR bounce play from 4 after our low, short any pops into 550. Okay, next stock on board we got is Unity. So let's head over to Unity over here. My keyboard, does my control button not work sometimes? What the hell is going on? Unity, what the hell's wrong with you? You had a good earnings report. They missed on revenue. Even though they did beat on EPS, they missed on revenue, and maybe the guidance hurting them a little bit over them also, hence pushing much to the downside, much more to the downside, hitting apparently one of the Prastradamus levels that we had mapped out previously on Unity. So let's go check out where that level comes from by going back into the past, the yearly chart. Oh, look at that. That one is basically the previous 52-week low. No, that is exactly the 52-week low to date, because November 9th of last year, we were right at this price, and we're right back at that price on November 9th, 2023. Today's price is not, or no, what does Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price. No, sir. Yesterday's price is today's price, because that's what we're seeing right now. 21, 22 coming right back into play on Unity. If for any reason the stock wants to bounce off of that price, that's a good long opportunity right back into these areas where you can look for shorts. Right? But if the stock does want to reject off of this and trade under it, we can look for some bigger shorts on those areas. But first, that bounce over here giving you a move up is a beautiful long opportunity in my opinion. It showed you a beautiful double bottom right off that area, so look for that 21 area to hold. Looks like 21/2120 area wants to hold. If stock opens above this, just wait for 24.50 area to short into. But if stock opens near 21, 21, can you do something for me? If the stock opens near 21 and you can see buying still there, this could be the SSR long previous November 9, 2022 low. Bang. Low. If stock under 21 and has staying pressure under 21, this is the short op. I'm typing so stupid today. I don't know why. Probably the Zaza. The Zaza. Trade desk also getting smoked. What's going on over here, ladies and gentlemen? I guess this is the moves on the market hurting these stocks a little bit. Trade desk getting hurt a little bit more. Another one dropping right into another one of those TraderPrad levels. We're gonna have a bonanza with SSR trades tomorrow. Not one, not two, but three SSR stocks now. Unity, Plug Power, Trade Desk. But in terms of priority, I think Unity goes first, Trade Desk goes second, and Plug Power goes third in my opinion. But that's just me ranking my trades according to what I think has the most volume, the most expected win rate, and the most volatility and so on behind it. So I'm expecting Unity first, Trade Test second, and Plug Power third. For those of you who are interested, overall though, I'm interested to see where that level comes in. I haven't put levels in on Trade Desk for years. That's wrong, maybe not years, but since last earnings season. So I'm interested to see where these levels that I have. Whoa. What? We're going all the way back down here on Trade Desk? Yikes. I mean, this doesn't really matter. I don't know why I put that there. What even compelled me to put that range down over there on Trade Desk? But hey, we popped into these range highs. Multiple days have we rejected right off of that price point. Even over here in these ranges, as you guys can see, couple times we hold it, we get under it, but we hold it again, and that gives you a beautiful channel ride to the north side where the stock has been holding into. But Trade Desk now on the negative earnings report, or should I say positive earnings report, but I'm guessing a little bit of a guidance to the downside of some sorts, hurting it, bringing it to the downside. We could look at the earnings report, but that would just help us build a bias on this position. So I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to look at what the market and what the stock is telling us. We got under this price point a little bit. We tried to bounce off of it. We tried. No real selling showed up, but no real buying showed up either. So we pushed a little bit more. But over here, some buying showed up and we trickled right back to the north side, and no real selling showed up to stuff the stock even more down. But the fact that this anchored VWAP is so close to this price point over here could tell me two things: that more selling could show up in pre-market and we trickle from here much lower, at which point we look for the long later on in the day, or right off the open, wherever that price is, or the stock actually starts trading higher into pre-market, starts using this anchored VWAP as support, and now we're looking for the longs, that breakthrough longs through 60 and a possible rejection into $70 or something. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we make that big move off the open, reject off of somewhere around $70, $68, and then come back into these prices tomorrow on TTD. So looking for the SSR bounce, rejecting these areas, and then pull back to the downside. Kind of like some of the other stocks that have did this recently. I'm trying to remember. SEDG. So where is the earnings day on SEDG? Right over here, when it drops down, pops back up, and then sells off to the downside. That's what we're looking for. Pops up, sells off, and then pulls back down, giving you a good risk to reward long and the great risk to reward short if you're interested in those trading opportunities. So TTD, let's go put it in our notes. I think I might actually have to wait for this notes one, but we'll put it in our notes. We don't really see anything in the middle over here happening on the stock after hours. You don't see any hindrance on this position at all, right? Instant sell off right into that price point. So clearly a lot of bearishness. If we do pull back, however, on a longer time frame, we do have the 65 area. That's something to look out for to see in case the stock pops into these prices, and then we can get short off of these areas. 64.60 to 65.60 or 66.60, sorry. Look for possible pops into these areas, and then the reject of these areas, we could ride it back to the downside. All of this over here is awesome, but this is basically a channel up, so I'm not really like too confident on these pop levels. Like, we have some pop levels over here, 60, 50, 59, 57, 50 or so. We have some pop levels, but I'm not too confident about these, and nor do I think these are relevant tomorrow based on what the stock is going to be doing off of its own earnings catalyst. So the only levels I'm interested in now is this 65 area, 65, 66 area, this 56 area, and then any pops into the north side that we can possibly look for shorts into. So I'm gonna put down possible SSR. Bang. So TT desk, TT desk, trade desk. We're looking for a SSR long and then a possible short. Win Resorts coming up next over here. All these stocks are just getting smoked. Man, this day tomorrow is just screaming free fall for me in every form. In every shape and every form. This day is just screaming free fall tomorrow, guys. We're gonna have the best free fall Friday for us tomorrow. Get ready for it. I mean, I should stop saying that. I'm gonna be so biased to the short side, and if it doesn't play out that way, I'm gonna get tilted. I'm gonna get absolutely tilted if we have a bias like that tomorrow. So let's not try to have that bias. But we like to see that the Win Resorts have pulled right back into these range lows. A break below these range lows possibly opens up more short side for ourselves. 85.80 to 86.50, something to watch over there. We're already trading under these ranges, so that could possibly open up the stock for an even bigger downside move up to $79.60, $89. Sorry, $79.60/$80. So a nice little $5 move downside on this position, from where we could possibly look for some longs later on. But right now, interested to see what happens at these areas. If the stock shows rejection, let me just turn off this integration because I'm gonna keep forgetting to type it. Too interested in my own notes making and my own levels right now. 86 to 86.50. Okay, next up on board, smoke weed every day. It's a penny stock again. I thought we got above $1 already. Why are we back under a penny stock? I'm not gonna be that interested now. Nah, that'll be a lie. Maybe. Oh wait, it's a red move and it already reported. I was gonna say I'll be interested if it moves in pre-market. Yeah, no move in after hours, and both of them are a penny stock, both of them not really doing too much. So I'm gonna have them on the watch list, but just a little bit lower on the watch list, not really that important for me tomorrow. Let's move on to Soundhound AI. Hopefully you're doing. Let's go over to NVTS. Hopefully you do some volume throughout the day. Oh my god. Bang my head with the mic over here. NVTS, okay, at least you brought in a positive number. Go up. No volume. So all these positions, ladies and gentlemen, are basically almost irrelevant for us tomorrow. I don't think there's any trades on them for us tomorrow at all. So, but we will have them on the board just in case they do make some moves pre-market and they bring in some volume. But I don't think these matter at all for us. The earnings plays that we'll be looking at, the brand new earnings plays: Plug Power, Unity, Trade Desk, and Win Resorts. Those are the only 4 ones that are important. Sadly, tomorrow pre-market we don't really have anything spicy coming out with the earnings reports. We got a couple stocks such as Silver Spike Investment Corp, Algonquin, AQN. Maybe that one could be a little spicy to see how that one moves. AU and Anglo Gold Ashanti, Central Puerto, Hudson Capital. Why am I even reading this? You guys can see it. There's no good names over there. We've still yet to see what happens with Nvidia. That comes out next week. So don't forget, the earnings season is not over yet. Be a little patient. We still got Nvidia to come out, but sadly nothing really too spicy in the pre-market tomorrow. And at least we got some good ones in the after hours today, some of which we already talked about. And the next few stocks on the basket are actually the stocks that already announced earnings, some of which that announced earnings today pre-market or yesterday after hours or somewhere throughout last week, trying to look for those day 2, day 3 type of plays on them. These plays are more in the category of B2C type trades because they're not brand new fresh category type trades. I think, in my opinion, those Plug, Unity, and Trade Desk are in the A+ trades if you are able to find the A+ patterns in them. But according to what already took place on them, they come into the A+ categories for me, and I'm gonna keep those ones really on my watch list. On my charts, I mean. Those ones are going to be overpowering on the chart section. But getting ready, however, for a possible day 2 move over here on Disney. Disney had a monster move right into these ranges that we were expecting for it to do something fun for us, and it did exactly that. Possible hold of this area tomorrow. I don't think we see that because the market looks weak. The market looks scary. I don't think we see a hold of this 90 area tomorrow. But if we do manage to hold 90 on Disney, then possible longs over there for a day 2 continuation. 89.50 is currently where the earnings VWAP is, so any dips into 89.50 should technically get bought up. If we're trading under 90, under 89.50, then that could open up a little bit of a move to the downside on Disney to go find buyers in the lower end of the ranges. So you could possibly look for shorts over there, but I think I'll be a little patient. Any pops into 91 and rejecting from today's high will be a better opportunity for shorts. Closer to today's high will be better risk to reward in my opinion. But if you think about the chart pattern, the stock shouldn't technically even be able to do that. We should not even be able to pull into today's high. It should maybe pull somewhere into these ranges, into 90.50, and then start trading lower and not be able to hold 90 at all. That should be the technical pattern, in my opinion, where the stock opens up the downside move. We should not be able to even trade up here. But if the market makers want to trap the longs and burn the stops, then you could have a beautiful short on the failure to go above these highs and a backside of 91 on Disney. If possible, look for the backside above 91 / 91.20. If stock is holding 90 / 89.50, stay away from shorts. If stock is under 89.50 and holding under, could think about the downside move. Palantir hasn't really been on the basket for a couple of days now because a lot of other stocks have been in play, but Palantir has been holding pretty damn well above 18, and now with, however, the market selling off today quite a bit, it'll be interesting to see what Palantir does. And I'll be honest, I don't think Palantir will surpass other stocks on the watch list tomorrow, but if Palantir does manage to get under 18, which it looks like it wants to off of this this market catalyst, and start start trading under 1790, then that could open up a little bit downside room to the for Palantir into $16 or so. But technically we should not be trading under 1790 on Palantir. We should see the stock holding 18 and still ranging in this area, not really caring what the overall market's doing, finding buyers in these prices, because Palantir is now, looking like a better stock. Palantir is actually getting ready to possibly get added into the S&P 500 index. So a lot of bullish indications and a lot of reasons for other investment firms and companies to possibly look for the longs on Palantir. This is all obviously a little bit biased because I also have Palantir in my long-term account. So a couple disclaimers about that over there on Palantir while I'm talking about it. Overall, though, not trying to talk up my own book, talking about the thesis of what I think Palantir is possibly going under, and according to that thesis, we should not trade under $18. But if we are wrong with that theory, if stock can't hold 1790 to 18, could look for shorts. But if it is holding and market is weak, don't look for longs, which we think market will be, which we think the market very much will be. We think it'll be weak. Roblox. Okay, let me just hit a vape real quick. This would be the perfect time to do a little bit of a commercial where we talk about all my social media and we talk about all the other fun stuff that you guys could use for your trading journey, like trade ideas and so on. I need to work on that. I'll work on that. Some little commercials to play in between so I can take breaks, drink some water, hit a couple of vapes over here. Good old cold agua. My throat's so scratchy. Ooh. I say that, and then I'm right after going into a vape. I'm smart, aren't I? We got a lot of people talking in the chat over here. Chat's active again. I love seeing that. I'm sorry I'm not so actively reading chat for you guys because I'm always trying to run through a long ass watch list, but I'm also trying to do it in a quicker time frame because I don't want you to guys stay here for extremely long hours. And you guys know how I love to talk for hours and hours and hours. The EMA line is forcing a zoom out, has a $20 range on a $51 thing, but it's all right, thanks anyway, says Twain. Yeah, man, I just don't believe in it. I'm sorry. If you believe in the trade, shout out to you. Momo believes in the trade. I don't believe in it. Hopefully it ends up being a win for you over there, my boy. Josh Blinzler, better get a colder winter than last year. If I remember, people thought natural gas was going to the moon last winter and a warm winter ruined that. I don't trade it, so what do I know? There you go. That's a very good point, Josh. I never thought about it. Like I said, I don't trade it. What do I know? I already gave you that disclaimer. I know zero about this trade. I know zero about the thesis. I don't watch it every day. I could be wrong about the volatility. I could be wrong about its ranges. And honestly, I don't care enough to look at that trade because in my opinion there are way better swing trades at the moment. This is earnings season to be involved in, so that's what I'm interested in. Also, I'm not a swing trader. I'm just not a swing trader, so I can't give you swing trading ideas. This winter is not going to be normal for US. I think north is going to be warmer than normal while south is colder from El Nino. Not sure what El Nino is. Is that another storm of some sorts? El Nino sounds like a drug dealer. What the hell is El Nino? El Nino. El Nino. MH, it's already colder in... Oh, you're talking about Momo. Momo, hi. Hitsugaya. Momo Hitsugaya. It's colder already in New York than it usually is. Las Vegas temperatures dropped this week too. I'm wrong. It's warmer north near same south and the way south, so I don't cold and the blah 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 blah. Yeah, you guys are just talking about cold temperatures at the moment. Yeah, let's look at the amount of stuff you have to track to trade natural gas. I don't want to track natural. I want to track weather temperatures in New York. It's already hard enough to track temperatures where I live just to go to work every morning, okay? I don't want to have to track New York. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to track Texas, New York, Michigan, Chicago, Toronto, Vancouver. It's too much work. Too much work just to make $5 per share. Get out of here. Sounds like a fucking death letter. You short bias FedEx after they told pilots to go to American Airlines low demand. They said, "Ooh, I didn't know that." But did they drop off that catalyst? I actually didn't hear anything about FDX or yeah. Looks like there wasn't too much of a move off that catalyst, right? Yeah, it wasn't really too much of a move off of that news. They did drop recently to the downside, but I'm not seeing anything really take place over here other than the recent market moves, I guess, on FTX. Yeah, I didn't really hear that news catalyst come out. But thank you for putting that on my radar. Rivian NIO levels. Rivian's actually on the watch list coming up very, very soon. NIO, I don't think NIO is worthy of a day trade at the moment. Tesla on the watch list very soon coming up later on in the day. Plug died today 493 to 417. Yes, that is the after hour moves over there on Plug Power. Prad for Disney, same. It needs to break 92 to show you it's going to a new range. Otherwise, it could pull back to 85, 80 by December in tax harvest season. Momo's got the future crystal ball there, ladies and gentlemen. Write down your notes. Write down the notes. Tobias coming in. What's up, Tobias? Apple short on the open. Palantir and Tesla long after gap fill completes with Disney. Purple and Sound long swing tools Monday. That's his watch list. You got Tobias coming in. We should get Tobias one day on the stream. Learn more about his trading style. More learn about what got him into trading and so on. Do a little bit a guest interview with our viewers over here. 318 LMG gang. Proud LMG member over here, Tobias, coming out and putting his levels every single day in the chat, putting out the stocks he's looking at and the trade he's looking at. So for those of you interested, right above you in the chat, just scroll up, look at Tobias. Coming back to our watch list on the day for tomorrow, the next stop is RBLX, which is selling back to the downside quite well now after the earnings day. So this was the earnings move. We rejected that $42 pretty damn well. Came back into what, 39, I guess. We opened under yesterday's close. Yeah, we opened under yesterday's close. Rejected yesterday's close on the pop-ups and then dived back down. Today's high 39.08, yesterday's close 39.22. So perfectly rejecting into the yesterday's close on the pops and diving a little bit more to the downside. Looks like a little bit of a gap fill taking place over here. Well, not really a gap fill, but pulling down to 36.50 to test support. So if Roblox pulls back to 36.50, you could possibly look for buyers. And if buyers don't show up there, buyers could easily just show up into a little bit lower ranges of 35. So 35 to 36, 36.50 area. This whole price point is screaming possible buy area for Roblox. So you don't really want to be shorting into these levels. You might want to be just waiting patiently to see what the stock does when it drops down to these price points. So let's just wait and see what stock does into 35/36.50. 35/36.50. And if stock can hold these areas, could look for longs, but try to stay away if market is weak. Rivian. Next up on board, we wanted Rivian. I think Sky wanted Rivian. Rivian pulling perfectly into that price. I like it. Okay, Rivian, that's beautiful. Perfectly into that price. At one point on the day, Rivian had 1 million shares on the ask or the offer. So someone was trying to spoof this stock, and then when the stock popped up, they removed their order. They didn't really take that fill. and the stock popped up a little bit more after that, and then it popped back down eventually. I guess once the market started trickling down at 1 o'clock, that really breaking the market or the stock a little bit more, not having that move at all, did manage to show you some buying eventually at this areas. So earnings not mattering at all. The dilution catalyst still way too strong, pulling right back into this 1529 area. Stock ending barely down 10% on the day, so that means it's not going to be on SSR tomorrow. So if we do get under 15.30, $15 a trade under this price point, there's a possible short all the way down to 14 and even a bigger move down 14 on Rivian. So let's keep a watch out for that one. If stock can open under 15, possible big move to 14 and lower. But if 15/1530 area holds, could look for some long trades. Uber did manage to break above $50 and run up to 50.50, but then it came right back to $50. And surprisingly enough, we closed above 50 after that whole craziness on the market. So it looks like Uber, I mean, we dropped all the way to 49.72 and then popped back up. Okay, so I mean, the overall idea is we are holding $50 at this point. So if 50 wants to hold on Uber, that might be a long idea. You could even just wait to see what happens on the break of 51 for a possible bigger move onto Uber. But I'm just going to be a little patient. I think dip buys into 50 or even at the lower end of these ranges, because Uber has held that 48.80 beautifully, 49, 48.80 area wonderfully. So instead of waiting for 50, I'll wait for 49, 48.50 to come into play. If looking for longs, wait for a wait to see if stock can still hold 48.80 to 49. Don't try to trade at 50, might be infliction. If stock can get above 51 and hold above, then could maybe look for longs. Where's earnings VWAP right now? Earnings VWAP is at 49. If this stock is trading into 51, earnings VWAP should get pulled up into 49.80, at which point that 49.80 buying area looks even more solid for us. So, sorry, 48.80. We're already pulling into 48.80. Wait, we're already above it actually, Prad. Yeah, we're already above it. I think this area should hold at this point on the stock. So 48.80 should hold. I'm gonna not do anything at $50 on Uber, but on the break of 51, we could possibly look for some longs there. But the market, if it is weak tomorrow, I don't think we got that break on Uber at all tomorrow to the north side. DraftKings pulling right back into the earnings VWAP after making a beautiful north side move every single day post earnings. But now it's important to see what happens once we do dip over here. Are we going to see some buying off of these areas? Are we going to see selling off that areas? Who's in control? Are the buyers still there? Are the sellers still there? According to the daily chart, that VWAP actually comes in at $33, which is somewhere that we have a line at previously. So if the stock does want to break under 34.50 and trade under 34, there is a possible move right into $33, but then 33 could end up holding. So I'm not really too bullish to bearish to the downside on DraftKings. I think there's a possible only $1 move over here maybe. I think there's a better opportunity to just look for the longs or just stay away from it. There are other trades tomorrow to take a look at, better trades to take a look at tomorrow. And DraftKings as a how many day play is it now? This is day 1, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think there's anything as day 5 play for a day trade. So I'm not going to be too interested in the day 6 play over here on DraftKings. Still going to keep an eye on it just in case there are any beautiful patterns to be involved in this trade later on in the day. But no reason to really be looking for a trade on DraftKings or on Shopify in my opinion. But Shopify right back into that earnings VWAP and holding around $60. That makes it a little interesting, honestly, because now if Shopify can get under 60 and hold, could look for shorts. And if holds above 60, could look for longs. This one's a little interesting because that 60 area, which was pretty damn important previously, coming back into play now. We want to see buying coming right back into play on that 60 area, sorry, on Shopify. Mara, a little bit more important on the watch list compared to some of these other stocks, so maybe we can move Mara higher than DraftKings because we said how it wasn't really that important for us tomorrow. But Mara is honestly very, very choppy, very ugly, doesn't really do what we want it to do, and trying to force the trade over here. I mean, look at this one. We kind of drew pictures for ourselves on this one, but didn't work out for us too well, did it? Oh, didn't we do that? I want to delete that picture. It did give you a beautiful run up. We tried for some longs here. We got burned. We tried for some longs later on, I believe. No, we didn't. We didn't try longs later on. The overall idea is the stock held $9, which is exactly what you want to see. If you pull back the stock on a longer time frame, $8.50 to $9 is somewhat of a range, and holding that area is good. But it's very choppy above that range. Anytime we do pop above, it looks like there's just way too much selling into $10.50 to $11 on this position. So until we really get above 11, I think it might not be too important for us to watch. But I'll be watching Mara for our day 2 trade, seeing how it sets up, because we still got cryptocurrency going crazy, almost 38k coming into play on BTC USD, and BTC still holding that move continuously, finding buyers anytime we do dip into it. So monster moves over here on the spot market, and that might just be able to give us a day 2 trade on the earnings catalyst for Mara, because it is giving us a beautiful hold of this 850 to 9. So if stock can continue to hold 850 to 9 area, could look for long, but be careful of the sellers into 10, 50, and 11. Now, last but not least, we got the big tech, we got the overall market, which we already talked about, but I'm not too bullish about this price point or not bullish, too confident about this price point on the S&P 500. I think watching the futures will be a little bit more important, watching to see how the futures trade under, what is that level for me, 43.50. Watching how the futures trade under 43.50 will be pretty important. If we can get under 43.50 and hold under 43.50 on the futures, and then finally move down to 43.25 over here and break that candle too, that opens up quite a bit of a room on the market. We could just drop down to all the way down over here or all the way down over here, which ends up being that, screw off, dude, which ends up being that year-to-date anchored VWAP, I believe. So let me just type that in. So that year-to-date anchored VWAP coming right back into play. A big move down over here on the market will be surprising. That's like a 2% move, 2.5% move. I won't say the market's gonna go drop all the way down there. No, that's a little ridiculous. But maybe a 1%, 1.5% move into these ranges on the market tomorrow could give us a good little free fall Friday, right? That's what we're expecting. If we are looking for a free fall Friday somewhere to these ranges and then bouncing off of these ranges, even a drop into this range tomorrow will be fun. That's like a 1% move. So somewhere down over here, a 1% move will be fun to be involved in. Let's see if that move happens in pre-market, or if that move happens throughout the day for us to be involved in. Does it get spicy, obviously? So S&P 500, something to keep an eye out for. QQQ looks a little bit more solid on the levels for us, so that's why we have notes for QQQ, and he pops into 37.50 into 37.50 to 371.50. The market should get sold. It should not get above it, but if the market does get above it, it kind of negates the whole bearish thesis. But I'll still be looking for those selling opportunities into 374 and then 375 if we do get in the higher end of the ranges where the stock kind of traded in for the last few days. So watching is not stock. The market traded in the last few days in these ranges. So watching to see how the market sets up over there. We do have the large tech price points such as Apple. I think Apple 180 still a price point to take a look at. We aren't really down there yet, but if Apple starts pulling into 180, that's a clear indication that the market is weak. So you want to see what Apple is doing throughout the day tomorrow. You might want to watch what AMD is doing throughout the day too, but AMD not as important to dictate what QQQ is doing. So you might want to watch Microsoft in that case. The big seven, basically, the magnificent seven. Microsoft, how does it trade near 360? Are we already under 360 in pre-market and looking to trade under 360 throughout the day tomorrow? So Microsoft 360 is something to keep an eye out for. 360 under over. Meta, we're playing that. What is that? 316? 316, 315, 50? Google, not really too excited to trade this one tomorrow, but I think that 130 under over is the pretty obvious number for a possible move into 127 to 126 to the downside. So 130 under over. Keep in mind, most of these levels most likely will not be in play for us intraday tomorrow because the stock market will probably gap down tomorrow, right? So if we do gap down, some of these levels might not even be in play, but the fact that the stocks are already under or over these levels will give us a good thesis on where to trade and what type of patterns to look for throughout the day tomorrow. So these are the important levels that I'll be looking to see where the market could kind of take these positions. So Amazon, I think Amazon price point is that 140 area. So yeah, pretty much 140 Amazon under over. AMD not too interested. Apple 182 I want to say, but because if we drop into 180, Apple most likely ends up finding support. Honestly, maybe not though, maybe not. But we have this range over here. What's that range low? 181. So yeah, I guess 181 under over on Apple, but technically should be 180. Nvidia was 480, but I don't think we see 480 coming back into play tomorrow. So it's probably going to be 450, 465, 455, somewhere in these $5, $4 ranges on Nvidia. Not going to put a price point on Nvidia and Netflix tomorrow for ourselves. Going to see how the market trades and then kind of lean on those patterns on Nvidia and Netflix if I do want to be trading them. Tesla a little bit weaker on the day. Actually not a little bit, much weaker on the day. The weakest tech basket stock today, Tesla. So if the market sells off tomorrow, Tesla is a little bit more maybe on watch. This was probably the most important stock if the market's selling off tomorrow, because we could have a bigger move under 200 right back into 194. I know we have a lot of Tesla bears in the chat who are dying to watch Tesla back at $100 and whatnot. So if that move ends up paying out for you guys are gonna love that short if you are short, or you're probably waiting to get long at the 100. So either or, you'll be happy if that trade ends up working out for you. Let's see what happens. I guess the under over for Tesla, in my opinion, over here has got to be the $200, and then we got the 210 and the 220. So waiting to see what Tesla does. Not gonna put a price point on Tesla either, just going to watch carefully how the stock moves. And you guys know how I'm absolutely shit scared of Tesla. I try not to trade it too much anyways. That being said, I traded it today way too much and I got hurt. Let me just highlight a couple of my positions over here, so they're easily able to stand out to me tomorrow when I'm reading them. God damn it, Pratt. Okay, didn't miss anything. We're good. We have our notes for tomorrow. We can close this one for now, and the next one, the next segment on the stream over here is looking at the economic calendar. So we're fully prepped for those random events on the market that come out all of a sudden that you might not know about. Today, if you were not prepared at 1 o'clock for the bond numbers to come out, you would have been destroyed, right? You would have been absolutely destroyed because you weren't expecting that move. And we prepped you for that. We prepped you for that 2-star event, which was actually a 1-star event. That 1-star event, and then Papa Powell coming on the microphone at 2 o'clock. The initial jobless claims at 8:30 today, all of which we were looking at last night. Now it's important to see what's coming out tomorrow. Do we have any big 2-star, 3-star events coming out from the market that could make or break our short thesis? And it looks like we got a couple of them. We got the Michigan 1-year inflation expectations. Papa Powell was talking, I think, at the International Monetary Fund today, talking about inflation, talking about how resilient the market, not the market, the inflation is, and labor market is, and whatnot, and all that, and also getting rated by protesters. So the inflation number over here is a little important. Last time we've seen the Michigan number move the market a little bit, so we could see that happen again, especially with how the market moved off the 30-year bond number. So watch out for 10 o'clock. We got a bunch of consumer numbers coming out at 10 o'clock. We got the total oil rig, I guess, total rig count coming out at 1 o'clock. Not really too important for the overall market, and nothing really too important other than honestly the Michigan numbers looks like, which is all at 10 o'clock. That's going to be the only time period that we're all going to be closely watching for. I think 10 o'clock will be a fun time period, especially if these numbers come out well past forecast. If it's a surprise, if it's a big surprise past forecast. So 10 o'clock is the important time period. Let's go check out the IPO calendar for November. Anything fun? Ooh, what is that? Only $4 to $6, $10 million. You're garbage. That looks interesting. Therapeutics company, $300 million offer amount. That's not bad. Another $300 million, but you're a SPAC, so I don't care. 60 mil, 10 mil, 5 mil, 62 mil, 310 mil. Hamilton Insurance Group. Okay. And then 2 garbage. There could be something over here. There could be something over here. What day is that? That's tomorrow? God damn it. That's tomorrow. Okay. Cargo Therapeutics, CRGX. What do you guys do? Okay, let's go back to the IPO page. Cargo Therapeutics coming out with 18 million shares to trade with on the market. $15 to $17 opening a range expected. Let's go check out company overview. Not like I know how to read any of this shit, but I'm gonna try and read. They are from California. California, yum. Gina Chapman. Should we call them, guys? You guys down to give him a phone call? Give him a prank call? Shares outstanding 38 million, and they are giving 18 million to the market. Is that right? Yeah, they're giving 18 million to the market, 38 million outstanding. Lockup period 180 days. That basically means that if you're an investor in the company, or if you own the company, CEO, CFO, whatever, you have 180 days after the stock IPOs for you to be able to sell your positions on the open market. We already pulled that up. Where's this? Okay. About next gen CAR T cell therapeutic to outsmart cancer and deliver more cures. Okay, not bad. You have anything? You're developing it. Do you have anything developed? Ah, so you don't. Going into phase 2, going into phase 1, or completing phase 1. Now that looks like going into phase 1. This looks like completed phase 1. Going into phase 2 soon. So you don't really have any real product yet? Doesn't look like it. but you're gonna go public before you have any products to sell. Sometimes that could be a bullish indication. That means, they are possibly going to go through with these and they are going to work out for them and so on, and then they go public. A lot of small cap, not small, it's not a, it's, I guess it's a small cap, it's 38 million, but it's not like 1-2 million small cap low float stocks, right? But it's a small cap company. A lot of these small cap companies, usually when they announce therapeutic companies or biotech companies, when they IPO, I think they usually go down, if I remember accurately. So I'll keep it on watch, CRGX. Maybe we get some short opportunities over there to see what happens tomorrow on that one. Quickly, let's go back to the chat over here, see if we forget any messages to talk about. Pratt, El Nino is a warm cycle in the ocean. So the warmer waters pushes the jet stream lower, causing weird weather patterns. Is that a real thing? I don't know that. I gotcha. It's all love. Hey, love you, Tobias. You know it. Nice Tesla gap play attempt. Yes, sir. El Nino wins. 49 boiled to 63C. So a bit more than $5. Look, I don't believe in the trade. Not going to believe in it. Don't care about it. Momo, you're correct. I'm guessing you're talking about the El Nino and the boiled trade. I like to swing, play Hurricane plays, HD, XLE lows about a week out, especially if they work. They were work their way towards the Gulf where oil platforms are. Work sometimes hurricane season. You really like to track those hurricanes then, in case, I guess, to kind of trade the oil pattern plays and so on. I like it. I like the way you think, Josh. But a lot of research over there, man. I keep it simple. I keep it stupid. I keep it easy. Keep it easy. Pratt sent you a DM to better explain, but I'm not exactly supporting the Boyle trade. It's a nice idea if the person accepts needing a stop loss because it can go very, very wrong. Yeah, I'll be honest, Momo. I'm not going to read it if it's about Boyle. I'm not going to read it. I just don't care. Ignorance is bliss, and I'm going to be happy in my ignorance. Bless up, Pratt. Thank you, Jose. Boyle is rough any which way. Pratt, Tesla $25 or less till Elon leaves. No comment. Are you putting the notes in Discord? No, I'm not. NVO is great, 98 to 102. Don't think it's a day trade for tomorrow, but sure. Missed you. Glad you're here. Thank you, Pratt. No problem. I'm here every single week. Every single day, except for Fridays, and except for Saturdays, and except for Sundays. But I'm here Monday to Thursday, 8 o'clock. It's been a wonderful hour and a half to stream with you guys so far. Thank you for hanging out for the last day of this week. Hopefully, I get to turn my week around tomorrow, slap a good little green day on there, and because our losses weren't too big, we might just be able to slap enough of a green day where we can turn this whole week around to a green week. So let's aim for, let's not trade PNL, right? Let's not trade PNL. Let's trade the setups, trade the stocks in play, trade the right setups, trade the right patterns. And then if we do that, that should speak for itself. That should be the end result for itself, giving us a good little green day on the day to wrap it up with and come back to the markets Monday. I wish you guys a wonderful night. Get a good sleep. Get good night's rest. Don't let that bed bugs bite you. Don't let them disturb you. And if they do, slap them. Slap them and tell them, go hit that like and subscribe button on TraderPrad stream. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I understand. It's okay. I understand. I see how it is. All right, all fun and games. Guys, it's time to call it a night. See you guys Monday. Have a great weekend. Have a great trading stream. Have a great trading day tomorrow. And let me know how your day went. Keep in touch on Twitter. All of my social media links, you know where they are, right down below. All of my affiliate sponsors are also right down below, so go check out all those links. Click them, and see you guys Monday. Ciao. Have a great weekend.